So for those of you whose spouses don't want to buy into eating right, let them know they don't have to put up with feeling like they feel and dealing with the body problems that they deal with. Eat right and it goes away.
Yes.
Today we have 3 things that we're going to talk about. First of all, we're going to talk about straw and run.
Chicken run.
Chicken run and
He
straw.
thought I meant run.
And this is an answer to one of the subscribers with an issue that she's running into. Second of all, we're going to talk about exercise and also show...
Great response.
Right, yeah, unbelievable. And we're going to show some... The initial video of that. I'm going to create a special video. It'll be a different playlist. We'll have just a short piece of it in there, but then you need to go to the other video to see the full exercise routine that's going to be there. And the third thing that we're going to talk about is
food.
Eating correctly when you're traveling. Big challenge to eat correctly, but when you travel, it's a whole new ball game. We're going to talk about that.
Fourth thing, which you don't know about.
Oh, she tricked me.
I got new glasses
She
today.
did. Does she? Don't they look
don't
great?
fall
You know,
off.
I have been so concerned because first one earpiece broke off, and we're trying to fix that, and the other one broke off. So it's like,
And he understands because this young man had no vision practically for the first 55 years of your life. And he had a major surgery, not a LASIK, where he had both of his lenses taken out.
They removed my lenses and
new
inserted
lens
artificial
put
ones
in, and he
It sounds pretty freaky, doesn't it? It really, it was freaky.
Anyway, he can see, and so he's
What was even more freaky is when they were done, I could really see very well, which was pretty amazing.
well, so he's very sensitive that I still wear glasses, and so I appreciated his sensitivity. Anyway, I have glasses, and look, I can wiggle my head, and they don't fall off.
In fact, you know, kudos to the what was the company that did this for you? She can't remember. Oh,
iWorld.
iWorld. They hustled to get them in, and they missed us by like 6 hours before we'd left to come on this trip. And they said, okay, where are you going to be? She gave them the address. I mean, we left there yesterday,
Yeah,
right?
they next date it, and it was here this morning, so wonderful.
I guess it was 2 days ago that we left there, and we
You know what? I'm going to run over and make sure that's the company, because I want to give the company the right
Absolutely. So the company is
Eyeglass World.
Okay.
Eyeglass World, and they are affiliated with America's Best, because they told me I could come here in DC and have that. Anyway, kudos to them.
Great company. We'll see how well they are across the United States, because she has to go in and get them fitted. They're not quite...
They're perfect, but they want me to get them fitted.
They look good from the inside. From the outside, they're a little crooked.
That's because I have a weird ear. I do.
But they'll adjust for that.
This ear is lower than this ear. Okay.
Moving on.
Number 1.
Now, tell me about this question.
So one of our
interesting question.
subscribers has chickens that she lets run outside. She only lets them free range 1 hour a day in the evening.
Which is cool.
And so in the...
Oh, I question the evening. I mean, that's the time when usually all the critters' environments start coming out in owls, but
we do ours.
it works for her, so that's great.
So she puts them in a chicken run.
She lives in a rainy area.
And lives in a rainy area. She puts a little bit of straw down and some herbs, and she finds that it turns into a muddy mess, and she worries about the bacteria.
So her question to us was, what can I do? I see you're doing thicker. Should I do that? So we're interested in your responses. What would you do if you had that kind of a situation? She doesn't want a muddy mess. She doesn't want the bacteria.
So
But here's our response.
Okay, so we actually did 2 different things. For our outside run, we always put a tarp over the top of it. We put chicken wire.
This was in Oregon. During the winter months, lots of rain. The chickens don't even want to be out in that. So
chickens don't like rain.
They're not ducks.
So
they adapt, but it's
we
tough.
covered the entire thing with a tarp. So that
plus,
they
you know,
have
it's not healthy for them. I mean, they do get chilled down. The water can be a problem on them, so it can cause some sickness.
Now, the first time we put the tarp up, it freaked them out because the wind would go and they'd go running back in their thing like, what was that? And
They got used to it. It was
but
nothing.
they got used to it. So you need to cover that so that your ground where they're going to be isn't saturated.
Yeah, you don't want it saturated.
There are two ways to do this. If they do not have saturation on the ground, we've done it with two ways. We did deep bed litter, which is done with wood chips. And with deep bed litter, you just keep adding the wood chips. You do not wet it down. You don't want it to be wet. And you can throw their scraps right down. You can throw scratch down in there, and that helps them dig it and move it around.
And it soaks up all their
It's
urine,
like a
everything they
diaper,
put down.
and ours never stunk.
Yeah, we didn't have a smell problem. It wasn't a mess. It looked good. It worked great. And after a year or so, there's different techniques to take the compost out of it and make use of that. But great technique.
But you're not
Deep
having
litter.
to turn it over at all.
Once a year
It's
is all you have to work on.
really good for people our age because they're not having to lift it.
When we found this, we actually got this from Swedish Homestead.
Swedish Homestead.
I'm sure other people do it. I'm sure he got it from somewhere else. Great technique for sustainable living in place to where you're minimizing how much work you have
but
to
it
do.
needs to be dry.
It's got to be dry.
Okay, so if you cannot have it dry, then you want to do the same thing with straw, not hay. Straw is lighter, and you will have to go in and turn it.
Straw is tough to turn. 'cause
We did hay. That's
hook-
what you were doing, was hay in
Yeah,
there.
it hooks together though. It still hooks
Yeah.
together.
It's
it
harder.
mats, especially when it's wet. So it's a good workout. If you're looking for a really good workout, there you go.
But it tired him out. But we did start with hay, just so that you know,
Yep.
and hay is harder than straw.
Yep.
And so you just want to put new levels down and turn it.
But you
new
want it
levels
deep.
down. You want to get it deep.
You don't remove it. You keep building it up and up. But you start deep and get deeper. If you're going to go shallow, you're going to have mud and all of that. By having it deeper, it gives it more places to soak in.
Okay, and the hay that was there, the straw, was on our garden. We put it on the garden after we were done with the garden and let it sit for several months. Oh my word, that's what made our garden so amazing.
It's one of the things that we did that huge contributor.
Okay,
So.
number 3, I'm gonna skip to number 3 because this is
So we're gonna go
a little
1, 3,
short.
2?
1, 3, 2. Okay, so number 3 is food.
I can do this.
We're staying with my brother and his wife, and we love them, and we used to live back east. So I'm gonna make this really quick, sorry. Okay, so they said, oh yes, we'd love to have you. No, we will not cook for you, because they know we cook differently. So we got home like 1:30 this morning.
Thank you, airport.
And they said to us, you can fix anything in the house you want. Here's the car. Here's car keys. So if you need to go to the store to get what you want. So I did find some
Like we'll find our way to the store.
grass-fed beef in their freezer. And so I thawed a little
Yay,
bit of
yeah,
that out.
that was good.
I know. And then they had fresh Brussels sprouts, zucchini, and broccoli. And so I just made a little stir fry with that, just seasoned with spices. I didn't even put any sauce on it. It was very good.
Quicker than from a box.
Quicker than from a box. So you have to work really hard. What we don't want to ever do is go into someone's home and make them feel really uncomfortable. No, we won't eat that. No, we won't eat that. No, we won't eat that.
We don't want to be food snobs, but we also want to eat right.
Yeah, so we will go to the store and get a few things because we are going to be here for 2 weeks.
She mentioned farmer's market.
Yes.
That caught my attention.
Yes. So they went to the farmer's market. So when you're out, you just have to plan a little bit better. We have found, and his body and mine showed it yesterday, but his more than mine.
Goodness.
2 days ago when we were traveling, we stopped at a little diner, which his body paid
The best diner
for.
we could find in Rawlins, Wyoming, by the way.
And his body paid for it royally. Remember, the better your body becomes refined with food.
Regenerated.
Refined.
Oh, refined?
When you have refined it, it is
Correct.
used to good food.
Yes, yes.
The more it's going to rebel when you give it bad food.
Well, the more it's going to react. I don't know about rebel.
Well, that was its way to rebel.
My body suffered.
I was
usually eating those things, I might have felt a little bit of something that I didn't recognize as being different. This was extreme. I mean, it was totally abnormal. I've done it before. I remember feeling that way and having those kinds of reactions at certain times and just attributed to them, that's how I am. You know, irritable bowel syndrome or whatever it might be, and it was normal.
But he's on an airplane.
It's not normal now, and when it happens, it's like, yeah, this is horrible, I hate it.
And we're traveling.
So for those of you whose spouses don't want to buy into eating right, let them know they don't have to put up with feeling like they feel and dealing with the body problems that they deal with. Eat right, it goes away. Tell them that. Get them to watch this. It's real.
You feel a lot better today, don't you?
Man. So much better. Number two.
Quick.
I can do this quick. A lot of requests for exercise routines. So what I want to do is to start a series of exercise routines. I'm going to start with simple and basic, where you begin if you've been sedentary, not doing anything. You don't want to hurt yourself to get started. So I'm going to start with that kind of a routine. I'm only going to do it once. If you don't feel comfortable with it after one time,
let us know.
You're in better shape. Repeat it multiple times. The second one and subsequent routines will be a little more demanding. I'm not suggesting you go from one day to the next day, moving from routine to routine.
Do the same routine.
Do it until you're comfortable. My motto is, if it hurts, you're doing it too much. This no pain, no gain ain't true. Pain stops you from gaining. I don't care what they say.
Now,
I know you'll get muscle trauma. You can get a little bit of aches. It's gonna happen as you start using more weights, but that's not the goal. If you start hurting yourself, you're gonna slow down and maybe even put yourself in a place to where you can't exercise, and guess what? You don't gain when you're not exercising.
So let me just give you an example. When I first started this, I started with no weights. Then I added 1 pound weights, then 2 pound weights, and then 5 pound weights. That said, there are some exercises like when we go out like this that would hurt my shoulders if I had too much weight. So whereas I could do 5 pounds this way, when I went this way, I picked back up my 1 pound weights or no weights. Don't do any weights at all to start with. Don't do anything that is gonna hurt you.
The point is to work hard, but don't hurt yourself.
Now, there are going to be
and be consistent and until you can do more.
There are going to be people out there. I know as a nurse, my knees hurt, my shoulders hurt, my this hurts, my that hurts. I don't have any cartilage in my knees. My back is already hurting. I understand that. We want you to move as much as you can. Frequently. And yes, your knees may hurt. If you need knee replacement, talk to your doctor. If you've had back surgery, which one of our residents, wow, you can tell I'm a nurse, which one of our subscribers has, then you want to move as much as you can. You understand the importance of moving this body. Oh, I should sing Hinges.
We're trying to make this short. She wants to sing you songs. This is going to be a progressive set of exercises. We're going to start simple and easy and work up to harder and harder. By the time you get there, you're going to be feeling great. So don't worry about the fact that I'm saying it's harder. It's to push you a little bit more, to give you more regeneration. It will work. I started in like 96, 97 with extreme back pain. I woke up one morning, couldn't get out of bed.
In the ER.
Had to go to the ER. It was horrible. And for the next 15 years, it was a constant. It was always there. Sometimes not as bad. I did a little bit of exercise and it helped. When I started exercising a lot, really working at it, it's gone. If I stop for a few weeks and don't do it, it starts coming back. You got to keep up with it. I'm not saying that this is a cure-all for all the possible aches and pains, but I do know this. When I've been consistent with exercising, I have less aches and pains, almost none, usually.
So, also, you're not exercising to lose weight. That is not our purpose of exercise. You're exercising to keep these muscles and bones strong. And if you see us, sometimes we're sitting like this. You'll see us sit back.
Tell us to sit back.
We work really hard on our posture. I'm always saying, put your shoulders back, hold your core in. Put your shoulders back, hold your core in. So important.
An important point on the weight thing. Some of us do need to drop some of that excess fat around the middle.
Well, that's done with food.
And that's done by eating correctly. What we're talking about here is regenerating your muscles and your bones. As you know, osteoporosis, muscle loss, all those types of things happen as we get, I won't say older, less exercise is really the issue that's going on there. It doesn't have to happen as the years go by. If you keep working at it, they're going to be there. There's research that shows that those with more muscle, more bone density, more bone mass live healthier, longer, happier lives. So this is a way to regenerate yourself back to where you were, to feel and act and be like you were several years ago. It doesn't have to go away. It's gone away because you're not eating right and you're not exercising right. Those are the reasons. It doesn't have to do with that number that comes every birthday and gets bigger.
So there is a video, which I'll put up here, that I did as his model. Right at the beginning.
Yes.
He was teaching at the local gym, the senior classes, and so he was having me do some. So you can also use that video, and I was his model.
And a gorgeous model she was. So we're ready for number 4?
What's number 4? It was my glasses.
I thought it was food.
No, we did food. We did.
I lost count.
We did 4.
I got above 2.
We did 4, which was my glasses, 1, which was the chicken, 3, which was the food, and 2, which is exercise. So there you go.
If you follow that, you're doing great.
You're emotionally well.
Hey, thanks for watching.
We'll put the exercise video on separately.
Remember, if you haven't subscribed, do it.
Share this. We were trying to grow.
We love your comments. We love your questions. Keep them coming. We'll do our best to answer. I don't know that we'll get everybody answered, but we'll do our best.